How do you have more energy? How can you feel more energized and not as tired and sluggish? Well, the answer is right here. Hey guys, Yuri Alkalim here, New York Times bestselling author of the All-Day Energy Diet, renowned holistic nutritionist and health expert, and the man to help you live a healthier, fitter, and more prosperous life. So as I just mentioned, I've written the book, the New York Times bestselling book, on this topic. It's called the All-Day Energy Diet. If you want to grab a copy, by all means, you can find it at any bookstore. But I'm not here to pitch you on the book. I'm here to share with you 3 fundamental things you have to understand about energy. And this is stuff that very few people ever talk about. And that's why I wrote the book. And that's why we've been able to help hundreds of thousands of people over the past almost 20 years of doing this now. And the reason that this is really important to me is because I grew up really tired. Like 20 some odd years of my life, I was exhausted, 14 hours a day sleeping, feeling tired all the time. And what I realized is that feeling tired and lethargic is a warning sign that your body is going to, something more serious is going to happen pretty much. And for me, when I was 17, I lost all of my hair in the space of 6 weeks to an autoimmune condition because I ignored all the signs. The low energy, the asthma, the eczema, all the health problems, I ignored that stuff. And my body said, hey, listen, pay attention to this now. And boom, I lost all my hair. Anyways, so you want to have more energy. I'm not saying you're going to lose your hair, but if you have low energy consistently, that's a warning sign you need to do something different. Otherwise, your body is going to let you know in a more serious way. Okay? So the first thing we need to understand with respect to energy is that sometimes we just have to remove the shackles, remove the blocks of what is allowing our body to fully express its vitality. And I call these energy vampires. Now, energy vampires can also be people. Okay? So if there are people in your life that are negative, that hold you down, that are all naysayers, those are energy vampires. And I'm sure you've spent some time around them. They might even be family members. Okay, but we're gonna talk mostly about nutrition here. There's a lot of other cool things you can do to have more energy, but here I want to talk about 3 specific foods that I put in the category of energy vampires. First and foremost is caffeine, and caffeine is a bit of an oxymoron or ironic. I don't even know what the right word is, but people turn to caffeine because it's a band-aid solution to feeling more energetic. But it's a band-aid because it's very quick energy and it's very short-lived. And why I don't like caffeine is because caffeine directly impacts your adrenal glands. And your adrenal glands are 2 little walnut-shaped glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and they deal with all the stress and stimulants coming into your body. They pump out stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. And over time, if that continues to happen, they will wear down. The other thing that happens when you're constantly drinking caffeine or coffee is that those same hormones are going to raise your blood sugar. And that rise in blood sugar is going to be followed by a crash because insulin is going to take all that out of the blood. And then you're going to feel like a zombie, like, whoa. And then you're going to be looking for your next fix, right? So it becomes a vicious cycle. And you want to get off that roller coaster. So caffeine, the way I like to describe it is caffeine is to energy like credit cards are to financial health, financial wealth. If you think you're wealthy because you're buying stuff on a credit card, that's the same thing as thinking that drinking coffee is okay because it's giving you energy. What's going to happen in both scenarios is that you're going to rack up debt, in this case energy debt, that your body or you are going to have to repay eventually. And this will be followed by exhaustion. So that debt becomes exhaustion and you don't feel you can function without caffeine. So you go to coffee and caffeine to overcome the exhaustion that you've created because of the caffeine or other factors, okay? You have to get off the caffeine if you want lasting energy. That's the first most important thing. Second with caffeine is sugar. Sugar and caffeine basically is synonymous. So I'm not gonna explain sugar. We know it. Everything I just said applies to sugar as well. Third is gluten. Even if you're not gluten intolerant, I don't know anybody who feels better by eating bread. So there's a lot of different compounds in breads, whether it's the gluteomorphines that make you feel like you're on a high. They're very addictive as well. So as you know, like for me, if I go to dinner and there's bread on the table, like it's already gone, like it's done, right? So that's my addiction to bread. But I don't feel good when I eat bread. And typically the foods you're addicted to are the ones that make you feel the crappiest. They make you feel good initially because they give you that rise in dopamine, but then you pay the consequence. So gluten, wheat, bread, pasta, cereal, all that stuff you need to kind of really put away to the wayside. Just simply removing these energy vampires will allow your body to be like, kind of like revamping its energy. And that's a really good starting place. So, number 2, okay? So we've removed some of the junk. We've removed some of the blocks. Now we're probably gonna start feeling a little bit better. Maybe not right in the first day, right? Because if you're used to caffeine and bread and sugar, guess what? You're gonna feel really shitty, pardon my French, for the first couple of days. But if you know that going into it, that makes things a lot easier. It will get better. Just drink lots of water, give yourself some time, have some rest. In a couple of days, you'll feel like a new person. Because most people don't even know what they don't even know. They don't even know how good they can feel. And the second thing here is going to help us do that is we want to increase alkalinity. Now, alkalinity in layman's terms is, if you think back to high school science, we had the pH scale, right? Acid, alkaline. In our body, we have that same thing going on. Specifically in our blood needs to be slightly alkaline in order for things to function properly, and specifically for our red blood cells to carry oxygen throughout the body as it should. If the body becomes too acidic as a result of eating the standard American diet, lots of processed foods, lots of animal products, lots of garbage, our body becomes very acidic because those foods, when they're metabolized, give off more of an acidic residue than they do alkaline minerals like calcium, potassium, and magnesium, okay? I talk about this more scientifically in the book if you want to check it out. But anyways, I discovered the power of alkalinity when I was in my early 20s, and it was like the biggest discovery I've ever made when it comes to nutrition. Because remember, guys, I've been exhausted for 20 years of my life. I wasn't drinking coffee or anything, but I was just exhausted all the time. When I started to learn about alkalinity and the power of really balancing the pH in your body, I did that, and very quickly, I'm talking within the space of like 2 days, I felt like a new person. And this is very encouraging because the subtitle of my book is Double Your Energy in 7 Days. And everyone's like, oh, you're crazy, that's a big promise. And I was on Dr. Oz talking about this as well. And it seems like it's impossible, but when you remove the shackles and you start to nourish your body with what it needs, it's amazing. It just like reboots itself. It's almost like recharging a battery or your iPhone. It happens like that. It doesn't need to take a year. And that's what's really cool about your body. It's always recycling, repairing, and it's just waiting to break through to the surface. And your natural state, if you're a cork, is to be floating on the water. But everything we're doing here is pushing the cork down. These energy vampires are pushing the cork, they're drowning you. And you remove those shackles, the cork comes back up, you give it some alkalinity, it helps it stay afloat, and you feel so much better. You feel like the true version of yourself. So alkalinity, what the heck is that? Basically, it's eating more plant-based foods, especially more greens, because more greens, think about green equals alkalinity. And the more greens, kale, spinach, Swiss chard, lettuce, chlorella, spirulina, barley grass, wheatgrass, greens powders, so forth, the more that you bring into your body, the more alkalinity you are bringing into your body, because alkalinity is measured by how much of these alkaline minerals, potassium, magnesium, and calcium, a food gives off in relation to its protein and phosphorus content. It's known as the potential renal acid load. I know it's very scientific, don't worry about it. Just take my word on this, okay? If a food is coming from a plant, if it's a green vegetable, it's gonna do very, very good things for your alkalinity inside your body. And we know that vegetables are important for our health, right? For so many different reasons. Antioxidants, micronutrients, fiber, all that good stuff. And this is just one more reason. So if you wanna feel more energized, alkalinity is the key, because this is what's most important to understand, is that energy is a byproduct of oxygen. Your body requires oxygen to produce energy. If you don't trust me, just block your nose and close your mouth for a little bit. Actually, don't do that, because then I'd be liable for maybe killing you, so please don't do that. But you know what I mean, right? Our body requires oxygen because we use oxygen to create energy through cellular metabolism inside our body. We take energy, we combine it with carbohydrates or glucose, and we convert it into ATP, which is our basic unit of energy. So we need oxygen to get to our cells. And in order for oxygen to get to our cells, our bloodstream needs to be alkaline, It's like driving on the highway at 2 in the morning and oxygen are the passengers in your car going from A to B versus in an acidic environment inside your body, which most people are very acidic. It's like, again, you're the oxygen sitting in the car, but now you're sitting in traffic and like rush hour traffic. So you're not getting anywhere very quickly. So if your blood is sluggish, you're gonna feel sluggish too. We want blood that is free flowing, that's alkaline, that's healthy, because it's gonna deliver more oxygen to our cells. And if our cells have more oxygen, we are gonna feel better, our health improves. And here's one more thing. In 1931, Dr. Otto Warburg won a Nobel Prize for discovering that cancer cells can only grow in the presence of sugar as a fuel source. What he showed is that oxygen basically doesn't allow cancer to grow. So when your cells receive oxygen, they are much less likely to create disease. If your cells don't receive oxygen, they're gonna have to switch energy pathways to sugar metabolism. It's called glycolysis or anaerobic metabolism. That becomes a breeding ground for disease and cancerous growth. So we prevent that by getting more alkalinity into the body, increasing oxygenation, and as a result, you remove the energy vampires, you feel 1,000 times better. Does that make sense? If you've enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. This is, seriously, I'm telling you guys, like, try this out for a few days, and if you don't know what this looks like, here's what I recommend. One, you can go buy the All Day Energy Diet at any bookstore on Amazon, it's there. Or I've also got another book for free called Fix Your Fatigue, and you can grab it at the link on this video or below, and that will give you a kind of a condensed version of what I'm talking about, along with some really cool action steps you can put in place today to implement this stuff tangibly into your life so you can start feeling a whole lot better in just a few days from now. So once again, it's called Fix Your Fatigue. It's a free book. It's actually one of my newest books. I'm giving it to you for free because I think this concept of energy is so important. So many people are walking around exhausted like zombies, and it's no way to live. So I want to hook you up with the goods. Just grab it today, the link in the description or on the video. And if you've enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got hundreds of other videos to help you live a healthier, fitter, and more prosperous life. And once again, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure bringing this to you. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.